This is the moment y'all all been waiting for. The moment. This was the problem. Hello, y'all. It's your girl, Shay. So we are about to head up north, then we're gonna head west, then we're gonna head south and east. I got my bike all packed up, all saddlebags are packed. I got the tour pack on. So I'm super excited because we are about to hit different state lines that we never hit before. As in y'all already know my girl DJ and I believe our other homegirl Dash will be coming with us as well. So yes, so I'm here today to pretty much go ahead and let y'all know of what happened to my bike. All right, so y'all ain't gonna believe when I'm about to tell y'all exactly what happened, but I'm gonna tell y'all the whole journey up to that point. So y'all already pretty much got the beginning part of the journey when we first landed in Georgia. We went to Falcon's Fury, checked out the bike. Well, I don't know, they really didn't check out the bike, they were not helpful at all. They were like, yeah, we're short staffed and, people came down on COVID. So I'm sorry. And I felt some type of way a little bit, I'm like, I'm traveling out of town. Like, I should be looked at. However, I get it. It's not anything like mechanically wrong with it. It's just something dealing with the radio, restarting on and off. So yeah, we ended up leaving and we ended up going to Hooligan Harley, which y'all saw. When I tell y'all, they tried every single thing to try to help me out. They ended up hooking up the voltage meter on the voltage regulator, and they took it around the block and give it a spin to see what was going on with the voltage regulator. And so when they came back, they was like, your voltage regulator is fine. It's reading fine. Everything is fine. And I'm like, okay, so what is it? They was like, let us check out the radio. They checked out the radio. They restarted it. They did, I don't know what they did with it, but they pretty much said it could be a radio issue. So we're going to have to order you a new radio. So I'm like, okay, cool. So let's get a new radio. And I was like, all right, so what we're going to do is, right, you're going to take a radio off one of your bikes and you're going to put it on my bike so I can be on my way. And they were like, yeah, nah. They was like, it don't work like that. We got to match the serial numbers and all that. And I'm like, okay, how long would it take for a radio to get in? And they were like 3-4 days. I was like, no. Like, I'm heading to Memphis. I don't have 3-4 days, I will literally be back in North Carolina by that time. So I ended up saying, you know what? I appreciate y'all's help. Thank y'all so much, but I'm going to just worry about it when I get back to North Carolina. So we got to Memphis, and y'all saw that I went to Bumpus Harley out there, which I didn't even bother asking them for anything. At that point, I was just over it. I was just like, all right, let me hurry up and get back to North Carolina so I can figure out what's going on with it. Excuse me. But the crazy thing about it, right, when I was out there in Memphis, why my 2 front speakers ended up going out completely. Gone. No music playing at all. It was just literally the music and the saddlebags, or the speakers and the saddlebags that were working. That was it. So I was like, what the world? My amp probably blew. And I'm like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense because, my battery meter is hitting 15 and, going back down. Like, it just probably blew because it was giving too much power. So I was like, all right, definitely gonna have to figure this out when I get home. So went home, literally rode with literally just the back speakers working, music still restarting. It was a couple of times in the trip where I literally just cut off my music, turned off my radio, and just pulled right next to DJ and listened to her music. Because it was bad, y'all. So we finally got to North Carolina on a Sunday. I had to work Monday through Wednesday. So I really didn't have enough time. However, I did take my bike to the sound audio guy to check out everything. And he's like, yeah, your amp blew, so you're gonna need a new amp. I said, okay, put that amp in there. All speakers are working. He ended up reflashing the radio because when they did a radio reset on it, the flash was gone. So he flashed the radio and it was good. However, it kept restarting. And I'm like, all right, Well, I don't have enough time because that Thursday, I have to go to Disney World for my son's birthday. So I was like, all right, let me go on this trip. But as soon as I get to Orlando, I'm dropping my bike off. So, and that I did. We stayed at Disney for 4 days. Orlando Harley had my bike for 4 days, right? And throughout the trip, I kept checking, calling, texting, what's going on, any updates. And they're like, oh yeah, your bike is good, your bike is ready. And I'm like, okay, what's ready? I requested to get an oil change done too while I was there. And they were like, yeah, your bike is ready, the oil change is done. And then we also saw that you need a rear tire. And I'm like, okay, I need a rear tire. Okay, put the tire on there. And then I'm like, what about my radio? And they was like, we had no idea we were supposed to be looking at the radio. And I'm like, how you don't have any idea you supposed to be looking at the radio? And that's the first thing I told y'all when I pulled up. So this was on day 4. This was on day 4 when they said, okay, we're gonna check out the radio. Checked out the radio, yada yada, boo boo boo. So then they hit me back and was like, yeah, your voltage regulator is down. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm leaving tomorrow. Do y'all have a voltage regulator to put on the bike? And they was like, no, we don't. And I'm like, dang, man, like, come on, y'all. Y'all literally waited to the last day to tell me that it's the voltage regulator and that I needed to be replaced. I'm leaving tomorrow and y'all don't have it in stock. Like, I was just like, all right, let me pick up my bike. I paid for the oil change, paid for the tire, and then I was on my way down to Tampa for Tampa Bike Week. So I didn't even pull up to the hotel, y'all. Tampa is about an hour and a half away from Orlando. When I got to Tampa, I went straight to that Harley there. I went straight to the Harley. I ain't even go to the hotel. I was like, hey y'all, my bike messing up. Can y'all check it out? So they checked it out, tested the voltage regulator, and they was like, yeah, your voltage regulator is bad. And I'm like, that's so confusing and it's so conflicting because Hooligan said the voltage regulator was good, and now I'm here at Tampa and the voltage regulator is bad. I'm like, which one is it? And I'm like, okay, do y'all have it in stock? They said yes. I said, okay, cool. So put it on. I have warranty, put it on. So they put it on. I drove away, I rode away, and it was fine. But later on that night, it started restarting again. And I'm like, dang, so it's not the voltage regulator. Is it really the radio? Or what could it be? Like, what could it be? So I set an alarm for the time that Harley opened up. I was probably their first call that morning. I was like, hey, can I speak to service department? And the guy that was working on my bike, the head service manager, he answered, and I was like, yeah, my bike's still messing up. It's not the voltage regulator. And he immediately said, I know what it is. Come in. I said, oh, do you? He was like, yeah, come in. He was like, we had a guy there yesterday, all day yesterday. We replaced everything for him. And it wasn't a problem, but it was something so minor that we looked over it because it was so minor and it was fixed. The problem was fixed. So I said, okay, they gonna fix my bike today. All right, I'm on my way. Hurry up and got dressed. Me and DJ rode over there to the Tampa and I dropped it off. I said, look, y'all have my bike. Take your time. I'm about to go get something to eat. Cause like I said, we always hungry. So me and DJ ended up putting me on the back of her bike. So I was her backpack and that was super fun. Like me and her ride side by side together all the time, but we never ride together. So it's like me and her had to learn each other all over again a little bit. I mean, I rode backpack with people, but this was a little different for me. But it was definitely fun. After, I had to get over hitting her head every time I get on the bike and stuff like that. But it was definitely fun. But anyway, we got something to eat, got a phone call. They said, your bike is ready. I said, okay, I am on my way. Like, thank you. So I went there and I'm like, what was the problem? This is the moment y'all all been waiting for. The moment. This was the problem. So he said, yeah, I checked your battery. And I noticed the screw on your battery was not screwed down properly. I said, okay. He was like, so that's why your battery, it was given too much power and it just kept firing back to the battery and your battery terminal is burnt. I said, oh my God. I was like, something so minor made my bike do that? And he was like, yeah, it was the screw to the battery, y'all. The screw to the battery. He showed me the battery terminal. I thought it was gonna look much worse than what it was, but you can tell like it was burning up for sure. But yeah, the screw to the battery. That was the issue. So yeah, that's why the radio kept on restarting. That's why the battery meter kept on hitting 15 and going back and forth. It was spazzing because of the screw to the battery. So yeah, it was definitely a journey. 3 Harleys later, like literally the last Harley, you know, the Harley in Tampa knew what the problem was. They hooked your girl up. They helped me out. Like, I'm so thankful for them and his team. I'm so appreciative. I didn't have to worry about it anymore after that. So yeah, that was the story of it all. You know, I did spend a lot of money dealing with it. That battery really took the cake. It was $360. And you know what? Thinking about it, right? When he told me it was the battery, I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Because one day I ended up leaving my bike on in the garage and my battery died. So I ended up going, you know, down to AutoZone, not even thinking like I have a warranty, I can get a battery, you know. Went to AutoZone, got a battery, put it in. But I felt like we literally looked around this garage and found screws and just put a random screw in there. I was like, that makes sense. It makes sense. So that was the story, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it's been a while, you know, a lot has been going on. Like I said, we're literally packed up so we can head out to go north, west, south, and then head back east. So we're about to hit a lot of state lines, y'all. So we haven't yet left yet, but we will be leaving here shortly. So just I'm prepared to go. So, but yeah, thank y'all so much for liking my content, following, sharing, subscribing, like all that, y'all. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, I am so appreciative of y'all. Like, I didn't think my video would make it that far, and it really did. So thank y'all so much. Until next time, I'll see y'all.